Long ago, in the ancient village of Obo Ala, there lived a king named Obakudan, a man whose face shone with kindness during the day, but whose heart transformed into darkness when the moon rose high. The people believed their king was blessed. They believed his farmland flourished because he prayed to the gods. They believed his youthful strength came from herbs and ancestral wisdom. But what the villagers did not know was that Obakudan carried a terrible secret, hidden deep within the shadows of the night, one he had guarded since the time he was a prince. Many seasons ago, Obakudan had journeyed into the forbidden forest seeking power and long life. There he met a spirit that appeared as an old man sitting on a black stone. The spirit spoke softly, promising him greatness, promising him the throne, promising him dominion over all who lived in the land. But the spirit also demanded a price, the life of his future people. The spirit told him that his strength, his harvest, and his power would grow only when the souls of the villagers were offered to him. Obakudan, blinded by ambition, agreed and returned to the village carrying a charm that connected him to the world of the dead. After he became king, his power began to grow, but his heart hardened, and the one-time gentle prince became a ruler who hid a monstrous secret. Every night, at midnight, when the moon reached the highest point in the sky, a strange bell rang from the palace tower. Its sound traveled through the village like a cold wind. The villagers slept deeply, unable to wake. As the sound reached their ears, their spirits rose from their bodies, pale and silent, and began walking toward the palace in long lines. The spirits passed through doors and walls, walking as though pulled by invisible chains. They gathered in the courtyard, and there stood Obakudan, his staff glowing with fire, his eyes burning with darkness. He commanded the spirits to kneel, and they obeyed without question. Every single night, he ordered them to work in his secret farmland, a land that existed between the living world and the realm of shadows. Here, the spirits worked endlessly, digging, planting, building, and guarding the fields that fed the king's strength, while their bodies lay motionless in their homes, growing weaker and weaker. By dawn, every morning, one villager did not wake up. The deaths were steady and mysterious. The villagers buried their loved ones, believing a sickness had come, believing a curse had fallen on the land. But they did not know their own king was the cause of their suffering. The more deaths came, the stronger Obakudan became. His farmland grew, his wealth multiplied, and he became younger each year, while the villagers aged quickly. But there was one person who sensed something was wrong, a young girl named Amara with the gift of seeing what others could not see. One night, Amara woke suddenly as a cold wind blew into her room. She stepped outside and saw faint shapes drifting through the night. She followed secretly and saw the spirits entering the palace. She watched the king summon them. She saw the spirit farmland. She saw the glowing staff and understood that the king was feeding on the souls of his people. Terrified, Amara ran to the wise woman Nneka, who revealed that the king had made a dangerous oath, and that the only way to stop him was to destroy the connection between the king and the spirit world. Amara was told that in the spirit farmland there was an ancient calabash holding the stolen life of the villagers, and if she broke it, everything the king built with darkness would begin to crumble. But Nneka also warned her that entering the spirit world as a living person could cost her life. Amara knew the risk, but she also knew that if she did nothing, more villagers would die. That night, when the bell rang, she followed the rising spirits. This time, She stepped boldly into the spirit world. The air was cold, the ground felt like water, and the sky looked like smoke. The spirits moved silently around her, and she saw the calabash glowing like fire. She reached for it, but before she could break it, a powerful wind blew across the farmland, and the king appeared. His spirit form was large and terrifying. He told her that she could not fight him, that she belonged to him, and that the village belonged to him. But Amara lifted a heavy stone, and with courage born from the suffering of her people, she smashed the calabash. A burst of light exploded across the farmland. The spirits who had been trapped for years cried out with fierce joy. Their chains shattered, their strength returned, and their memories awakened. Something else happened, something Obakudan never expected. The freed spirits turned their eyes toward the king in rage. For many years he had forced them to work for him. He had drained them of life. He had used their strength to feed his own power. The spirits rose like a storm. They surrounded him. The king screamed as the spirits rushed toward him, with the fury of all the lives he had taken. They tore away the power that clung to him. They drained him of the strength he stole. They wiped away the youth he borrowed, until he became old, weak, and helpless. The bell tower cracked. The spirit farmland began to shake. The palace trembled like an earthquake. The villagers woke to chaos. The sky turned dark, and the wind roared. The spirits chased Obakudan back into the palace, where he had built his empire of deception. The spirits took him down to the very chamber where he performed his rituals, and there they finished him. His cries echoed through the night until everything went silent. Not only him, but his entire bloodline, those who shared his oath, those who carried the darkness in their veins, were dragged by the spirits into the realm of shadows. The throne room collapsed. The palace guards fled in terror. The secret farmland vanished like smoke. When morning came, the villagers found the king dead before the shattered remains of his staff, his evil charm broken, and his family gone without a trace. That dawn, the truth spread across the village. Everyone knew what Obakudan had done. Everyone saw that he had built his wealth on their suffering. Everyone learned that he was the cause of the deaths that had haunted them each day. The villagers wept in anger and sorrow, but they also rejoiced in freedom. The spirits who once labored in pain now worked among them one last time, smiling before fading into the light. Amara was lifted in celebration for her bravery, for her courage, for saving all of Obo Ala. The villagers rebuilt their homes, their farms, and their lives, with peace restored across the land. And that was how the wicked king Obakudan met his end, destroyed by the very spirits he once enslaved and exposed before all people for the evil he had done. His name became a warning, told from generation to generation, that no ruler, no matter how powerful, can escape the price of wickedness. The village of Obo Ala lived in peace for many seasons after the end of the night-stealing king.